So Australia wants to move to a Chinese-led TPP. The correct way to read this is longstanding allies abandoning America for China in wake of disastrous U.S. election. This whole American hegemony thing has always been a fine line between smart power and projected value systems. The election of Trump has put the first of these into question and plausibly permanently broken the second. As transparently absurd as it always was, America marketed itself as the protector of freedom, democracy, and equality. But they just elected somebody that the world is interpreting as a quasi-fascist white supremacist. I will say this until they understand it. The deep state fucked up. And now the situation is reversing. The region is now looking for the Chinese to protect them from America. As America, demands protection, ransom. They demand their pound of flesh. Think about it. If you're Japan, if you're Australia, what has just happened? If you are Japan, if you are Australia, if you are Korea, South Korea, what has just happened? What has just happened is that a country that has thousands or millions of troops in your country, along with billions or trillions of dollars worth of gear, has just threatened to extort money from you in return for protection. You are now in need of protection yourself from these mafia tactics. Of course, the United States has always had mafia tactics, but it's used those mafia tactics on its rivals, on the countries outside of the empire. For the empire to use those tactics on its own protectorates. So yeah, if I was South Korea or Japan, I'd be a little bit worried. Okay, not just because now I might be under threat of Chinese occupation, but because there's a much greater evil that has just announced itself, and that is a racketeering operation in the form of the application of force greater than the world has ever known. Japan has paid tribute. Japan paid tribute to the Mongols. It tried to fight them off, but in the end it did. The Koreans have paid tribute. This is what Donald Trump is talking about. He calls it a protection racket, or a protection fee. But what he's really doing is he's extracting tribute from his puppet states. And of course they are going to look outward at other nations for protection. Like I say, for years the dynamic there was that these states are fearful of incursions by China, or so said the official propaganda. In truth, Japan and Korea and Australia too, the Philippines, these countries were under very large American military occupations. They still are. But we were told that they wanted us there so that we would protect them from the Chinese. What they are saying now is that they need China to protect them from an America that wants to extort wealth from them, extract wealth from them at the end of a gun. You will not hear that in any media. But what else do you describe a situation like this as? When a country that has hundreds of thousands or millions of troops stationed in barracks in your nation is demanding that you pay for it. If that's not extortion, I don't know what is. And who can blame them? Who can?